A very warm welcome to Tolworth Girls' School. My name is Siobhan Lowe and I am the head teacher at Tolworth. Our live panel tonight also features the head of lower school, Mr. Matt Perry, and the head of Year 7, Miss Rebecca Powling. Tolworth Girls' School is an outstanding world-class school, and while we are really disappointed not to see you in person, we are really looking forward to answering your questions and telling you about our school this evening.
Good evening, everyone. As you're aware, tonight is completely live, and running an event like this is still quite new to us, so please be patient. I'm really hopeful that everything will run smoothly, but if you do have any technical issues or you can't stay online throughout this event, then please don't worry. We're recording the event as we go, and we will put it on our website for you to view from tomorrow. Thanks so much to those of you who've actually submitted questions in advance via our website when you registered for this event. We'll endeavour to answer as many questions as we can tonight, and any live questions that come through later on in the evening. So please feel free to ask questions as you go, and hopefully we'll be able to answer everything that you are interested in about our amazing school tonight.
I hope that tonight we'll be able to share with you that ingredient that makes Tolworth Girls such an outstanding school. I do know that this is a very important time for you as you decide on your daughter's education for the next 7 years. Our ethos is quite simple. We want all of our students to be the very best that they can be. Simply put, as our parents say, we just get girls, we just get young people. I hope all of the videos and information that we have supplied on the website gives you a flavour of our school. Our outcomes, well, year on year, there's been a significant improvement in the progress made by our students. This year, despite the examination debacle, as everyone's called it, our students achieved fantastic results, with most achieving at least 1 grade better than their target grade. Our A-level results were fantastic, and given the climate, we really celebrated the positive effect this had on the life chances of our students here at Tolworth. Our staff are exceptional. We establish such wonderful relationships. We and our students really get to know them, and we really get to know us. During the lockdown, our staff taught online every day for at least 3 hours. The statistics are incredible. Our IT support department created over 1,000 teams. Students made up the bulk of over 1,500 active users of these teams, and we used the chat facility on Teams to support students with their learning, and over 500,000 messages were sent. There have been to date over 14,000 online meetings, and most of these have been lessons. Over 250,000 files were created. We tried really hard to run a full online version of our school, and this included an art exhibition where we showcased work done during lockdown alongside our GCSE and our A-level work. Our sports day was phenomenal. Started with the usual fantastic banner parade and ended with a whole school student and staff fitness session run by one of our teachers. It was absolutely exhausting, but really enjoyable, and I've got the bruises to prove it. Our online leavers assembly from year 11 took place, and sadly the prom didn't. We had wonder weeks, as we always do, and the students were engaged in lots and lots of different types of topics. Clubs took place, such as Sensational Scientists and the Duke of Edinburgh and our book club, and we worked on our Year 6 transition. We do work and we listen to our students. Senior students attend governors meetings where student issues are discussed and actions. We have a senior executive group, and the sixth form senior prefects, as well as the year 11, sit and discuss the vision and future plans for the school. We don't just talk about toilets and socks. We help when it's needed. We monitor our students' progress on a regular basis, and students are tested and received levelled homeworks. We look at attitudes to learning and spend time encouraging our reluctant learners to learn. And if a student is struggling, we help them with additional support. We are incredibly aspirational. We have high standards. We set aspirational targets, and we have a culture of high expectations for every single student at our school. and we prioritise the pursuit of excellence across all aspects of our school's work, and we strive for excellence all the time. We do have over 1,400 teenagers here, so you can imagine there are occasions when boundaries are pushed. We deal with it, and you'll often hear me shout, pull your skirt down, tuck your shirt in, and now it's things about blankets, because as you can imagine during this crisis, the school is quite cold because we've had to keep our windows and our doors open, so the girls are carrying their blanket with them to keep themselves warm. Behaviour and our students' attitude to learning are exemplary, and their behaviour in lessons is impeccable. Our students from all backgrounds are exceptionally considerate of one another and do get on incredibly well. So, is Tolworth the right school for you? Is it? And what are you looking for? Are you looking for a school where staff are committed? We experience success not only academically but personally. We've got 2 Olympians who came here, numerous actresses and a NASA scientist. We are a school where we care for the individual, we work as a team, we're determined to succeed, we're incredibly aspirational, we have such enjoyment and so much fun, and we strive for excellence, your daughter's excellence, to let you be all that you can be. Thank you.
Okay, good evening. I'm going to speak now as Head of Year 7 here at Tolworth Girls' School. So I oversee the academic, social and emotional wellbeing of our newest students in Year 7 and oversee the progress of the students in that year group. I work with a team of tutors and support staff to ensure the smooth transition from Key Stage 2 to Key Stage 3 and help students get off to a really great start on their secondary education journey. What I'm going to do is just outline the transition process and what we do here at Tolworth to guide and support students through what can be quite a nerve-wracking but very exciting time too. And we're here for you parents. It's undeniable that the pastoral support of young people in secondary education is pivotal to their academic success, and we pride ourselves on outstanding practice here at Tolworth. So Tolworth Girls' School might already be quite familiar to some of the Year 5s and 6s in the local community because of the outreach work that we do as a school. Our STEM subjects have forged links with local primary schools, and in more ordinary times, students from Years 5 and 6 enjoy travelling to Tolworth Girls' School and taking part in specialist workshops. We're also very proud of our sixth form and upper school ambassadors who accompany staff to local primaries and support Key Stage 2 students in their learning and are on hand to answer questions on the secondary school experience. So as soon as places are announced by the local authority, we begin our transition process. So staff from here visit schools of students joining us, and this not only enables us to gather information from Year 6 teachers and special educational needs staff, but also gives Year 6 students a chance to meet key members of staff and begin to have their questions answered. As the year progresses, we begin to carry out more targeted transition, such as our transition tea party aimed at students who might find the process a bit more difficult, or the students who are joining us as the only person from their primary school. This is an opportunity for an extra visit to the school, as well as an opportunity for you as parents to meet each other. Our transition day is always an exciting occasion when all of our new students come together to experience the day at Tolworth Girls. We put together a busy schedule of their new subjects, allowing students to experience lessons in our science labs, out on the Muga and in our art studios. Students love meeting new friends, getting to know their much bigger surroundings and sampling the canteen. And there's always a huge buzz at the end when they're collected by their parents. And parents are also supported during the transition phase, and our transition evening is a great opportunity to hear from our head teacher about our hopes and aspirations for your daughter, as well as how you can be involved as her education experience continues. Parents are able to meet each other on that evening as a form group, and there's an opportunity to meet with your daughter's form tutor, who is an integral person in their life at secondary school. During this evening, students meet their fellow tutees and their form tutors, and spend time getting to know each other and work on building the foundations of what become great teams of students that they spend the next 5 years with. We aim for there to be a diverse range of students in each tutor group, and take into account the information gathered through our visits to primary schools and the parent interviews that we conduct here at school. And that information helps us to create our form groups. We put a huge emphasis on new friendships here at TGS, and we encourage students to be really open-minded about the new people that they'll meet. Students are introduced to the Tolworth ABC, where we ask students to aim high, be brave and create positivity, and their summer challenges are all linked to that ethos. We also take part in transition reading projects with Kingston University, and this year we gave every Year 6 student who was joining us a copy of the book Talking to the Moon, and this has been an excellent bonding experience and resource and a good conversation starter when they do meet new people. So we believe in a softer start to the academic year for our new Year 7s whilst they find their feet and become accustomed to a much larger site. Lots of movement and once again being the little fish in the big pond. We stagger our return to school so that the Year 7s have one day where they're the only students on site, and we extend their break and lunchtime for the first couple of weeks so that they can get their much needed downtime and help them to sort of navigate the canteen and find their way to the toilets and all of those really important things. We have a buddy system in place as well, which really helps them settle with our Year 8 students. And that means that the new students have a friendly face and someone who can guide them through Year 7 from a student's perspective. We have motivation and resilience workshops, as well as initiatives that are designed to stretch and challenge our more able from early on in Year 7. We're keen to discover our diamonds. Student support workers are on hand to support those who may need more help navigating the early days of a new school. And we have initiatives such as our Chill Out Club, which runs at lunchtime, to ensure students have some quiet time and space to help them adjust. We don't forget they need to build friendships. So the Year 7 disco is always a priority in the first term, and then they have a fantastic team building trip in the Kent countryside to look forward to in the summer term. So overall, Year 7 is an action-packed year for students, and our provision ensures that they get a solid, challenging, yet nurturing start to their time here at Tolworth Girls' School.
I really hope that gives you a nice little taste of what life is really like at Tolworth Girls' School and what the transition process is like. We're now going to go on to really the main part of our meeting tonight, which is to try and answer as many questions that you may have on our school as we can possibly fit in. As I said earlier, we've had a number of questions that came in when you registered for this event, and I'm really pleased. I can see already a number of questions that are coming in on our live feed. If you don't really understand how to submit a question at this moment in time, then there is or should be a question and answer icon at the top right of your screen. This will open the chat window. No one else can see your question apart from us, so please don't worry. Don't be embarrassed to ask us any questions. We'll do our very best to answer anything that you want answered tonight. While we're waiting for the questions to sort of load up from our live audience tonight, we'll make a start just answering some questions that came in via the website on your registration. If we don't get to your question, I'm really hopeful we'll get to all the questions, but if we don't, please don't worry. We're really happy for any other questions to be submitted via a link that we'll post at the end of this evening. And equally, we have got a second live event next week. If you feel that your question hasn't been answered, you can always register again and come and join us again next week. Most of the questions that we got submitted right at the beginning through your registration, an awful lot of them were based on school admissions. So we're going to start just going through a few questions that were asked on school admissions. I'm going to ask Mrs. Lowe to read out the first question and answer it for you. Okay,
so the first question is, what is the best way to apply for a place at Tolworth Girls' School? So it's online and the applications are via eadmission.org.uk, and obviously this will be put on the website so you can see. You must apply by October the 31st this year for September 2021, and the offer day is the 1st of March 2021. You need to accept or reject your offer by the 15th of March, and Wednesday the 7th of July, the Year 6 will visit the secondary schools. Please, we hope, if everything's okay.
Okay, so I'm hoping that's covered how and the best way to apply for schools. But again, if you've got any questions about that process, then please don't hesitate to type it in the chat, and we'll see if we can clear up anything that doesn't make sense to you. So the next question is on the school's catchment area, which I'm very happy to answer. We don't actually have a catchment area here at school, but there are obviously some admissions criteria. We have 240 places available for Year 7 next year. If applications exceed 240, and last year we did have 728 applications, then we go strictly following these admission criteria. So any looked after children will be a priority, followed by siblings of current students, then children of staff, then any students with exceptional needs, that includes family needs, social needs or medical needs. And our final criteria for admission is distance as measured in a straight line from your home to school. Last year, I think there were 205 students that came in under the final category, which was distance. And the final distance in terms of the last place we offered last year was 2.9 kilometres or 1.8 miles, which is very similar for most years. So we don't have a catchment area, but we do have strict admissions criteria. And I've just obviously hopefully given you some information about the priorities and how we allocate our places. Right, the next question that's come up is, do most students come from the same primary school? So I'll ask Ms. Powling to answer that one.
So our intake usually comes from about 15 different primaries each year, and students come from a variety of schools in Tolworth, Chesington, Surbiton, Berrylands, but then we also go out to Worcester Park, New Malden and Thames Ditton and Long Ditton as well. So it's a broad range of primary schools that we get students from.
Okay, there's another question that's come in. I don't live in the borough of Kingston. Can I still apply, Mrs. Lowe? Do you want to?
Yes, you can. The list of our schools, you've got to list our school in your order of preference on the application form, and your home council will notify Kingston Schools admissions. So the admissions criteria will still apply though, so it's all the things that Matt talked about, and then the distance as well. But we do have a number of students who join us from Surrey, which is just down the road. So yeah, lots of students do come from out borough as well.
One of the questions that came in on registration was about how important is order of preference when applying for a place at schools. The order of preference is confidential to you, so schools are not informed of order of preference or what order you put the schools in. We as a school are not told what your preference is. Every school application is considered against the admission criteria for all of the schools that you've put down on your application form. However, the preference is really important for you because if you qualify for a place at a number of different schools, you will be allocated the place, the one that's highest priority on your list. So your preference is really crucial for you when applying to make sure you get the right school, but actually from a school's point of view, we don't actually see what preferences you've put on your form. Okay, this is a really common question. Why should we choose Tolworth Girls' School as a secondary school for my daughter? So Mrs. Lowe, I'm going to let you answer.
I think I kind of said that in my speech earlier on, but we are inclusive. We have students from all walks of life who come and join our school. It's an inspirational atmosphere. You would never be able to pick out students from the school as to where they live and where they come from. There is just absolutely no difference at all, and we try and level the sort of playing field so that every student has access to learning. If I can give you an example, during the recent lockdown, we made sure that all of our students had a laptop, and if they didn't have access to the internet, we provided internet access and a dongle, because we want every single student, no matter where they are, who they are, to achieve. We have a really student-centred approach, and we develop the whole child, so it's not just about the academic results, it's about how they evolve as a young person. And I was absolutely delighted last week to be meeting applicants for head girls, and we chose 3 in the end, and one of the major topics of conversation for us was about Black Lives Matters, and we just discussed microaggressions, we discussed You know, the kind of really important things that the girls are worried about, why it is important that we recognise Black Lives Matters, but also we recognise people of colour and the influences they have on our society, and we look at the history and how it's taught. That's the level of conversation we have with our Year 13s. So our students come in as little girls, I suppose, in Year 7, and then we have these amazing conversations with our Year 13s. We're really caring and supportive, and our staff are just fantastic. And as I gave you the information earlier on about how hard they worked during lockdown, even over half term and Easter holidays, and we ran our mini school all the way through up until summer holiday for our students who were disadvantaged. We are unique. We have a mixed sixth form, which we really enjoy, because we have boys and girls who join us, and it's interesting because the boys choose subjects that you might find quite interesting, because they do art and textiles as well as sciences, and the girls do sciences as well as art, and they're really good role models, and we don't suddenly get this, oh wow, it's a boy, because we're used to seeing young men in our school. We have outstanding academic results. Our progress rate this year was over 1, and our sixth form value added was the 3rd best last year in the borough, and we've also got new brilliant fantastic facilities, so that's why I think you should choose our school.
Okay, this was a question that came in on registration, and I know that Rebecca has covered quite a lot of this, but we will just read it out just so everyone's clear. It's, what is the transition to secondary process like at Tolworth Girls' School?
Yeah, so as I said, once the offer, and once you accept the offer of a place here, then we have our parent interviews or meeting with a senior member of staff. That happens in the late spring, and that's your opportunity to kind of tell us everything that we need to know about your daughter, what she's like at home, what she's like at school, her hobbies, what she's worried about, what she's excited about, and that helps us to build a picture of her before she even starts. We speak to primaries regarding every student to build up a picture. Again, somebody will go and visit the primary and spend time with the Year 6 teachers to get as much information from a school perspective. Then we have our transition day in July that I spoke about, closely followed by the transition evening that parents come along to, as well as the students. And then, like I said, there's a phase start in September.
Okay, this is quite a common question. One or two have asked this one actually. Is what are our class sizes like at Tolworth Girls' School? Our class sizes in lower school particularly are generally 30. So in Year 7, most subject areas will teach classes of 30, except in English, Maths and Science, where we have more classes available. So they will be taught in approximately sizes of 24. And some of the more discrete skills-based subjects like technology, because of the nature of the equipment used and the health and safety aspects, those classes tend to be around 20. But certainly the majority of the subjects they study, certainly in Year 7 and Year 8, will be full classes of 30 girls. This is a good one. What are the benefits to girls and being involved in single-sex education? I'm going to pass the buck straight away, Mrs. Lowe.
As I said, we really enjoy having a mixed sixth form, but we do look at the benefits to girls in an all-girls school, and all the evidence says that a single-sex school teaching and curriculum is tailored to meet the needs of girls. It gives them a real opportunity to express themselves freely. They don't worry about what boys might think about them, so they really do kind of find out who they are and what they are. They respond better to written and vocal instructions and often need more encouragement and confidence to speak out. If there are boys in the class, we don't have that trouble here. They're really confident to speak out and question us. There is a calmer, more work-focused environment. If you do get a chance to visit us, you'll notice that when the lessons are taking place, lots of active engagement taking place and calm. But as soon as the bell goes and the girls get out, there's lots and lots and lots and lots of chatter. And there's massive evidence which shows that girls actually choose subjects that boys would traditionally have chosen in an all-girls school. So here, huge number of our students at A-level take sciences and maths, and we don't sort of have a traditional girls kind of curriculum. So girls are allowed to choose any subject and be what they are really, and be the best that they can be. So it's a real, and girls do better statistically at an all-girls school, and boys surprisingly do better at mixed school. So.
I think one of the live questions that's just popped in about will we get the chance to come and visit your school? Obviously, at this moment in time, life in school is slightly different to normal, but we are really keen for you to be able to come and see us in practice. I think one of the standout features for us as a school is when you do look round, when you do see classes in action, you can see the things that Mrs. Lowe's has been talking about in terms of calmness, the work ethic, the outstanding behaviour. We are very keen for you to be able to come and visit us, and we will be putting something on our website in the next few weeks about giving you the opportunity to potentially come and see us in small groups. So please do stay looking at our website for more information about that, and thank you very much for asking that question. This is an interesting question that came up a few times. What's the ratio of male and female amongst the teaching staff? Mrs. Powling, do you want to?
So we've counted them.
Yeah.
Approximately about 25% of our teaching staff are male. So out of the roughly 90 staff, we have about 20 male teachers.
And I've just picked up one as well about can we choose between trousers and a skirt? The school uniform does allow girls to wear skirts, and it does allow them to wear trousers as well, but we've got school trousers. The other question I've noticed is about what do we do with students who speak English as an additional language? I did some analysis because I had to present to governors last week, and 48% of our students are white British and 52% come from other ethnic groups, and we have over 60 languages spoken at school, but we have a dedicated language teacher who deals with our EAL students, and she will support them if they're just emerging or if they're progressed further. She actually works with them, and they're taken over and do work with her in a dedicated area. Do we enter into school sports? We do, but very sadly at this very moment in time that's not happening. And we are an active, very, very active within the locality with sport, and we are brilliant at trampolining, I would say that, wouldn't I? But we are fantastic at netball, and we do rounders, and we do tennis, and we do lots and lots of sports, but sadly at this moment we can't do inter-school sports, but we do inter-house sport, so the girls get a chance to have competitive experiences.
Okay, we've got a number of questions coming through just about form groups in terms of what the structure of them is, how they are selected, and also whether or not you can actually request for your daughter to be with any friends. So I'll pass that over to Mrs. Powling just to give you some answers on that.
So we have 8 mixed ability form groups of 30 girls, and the key staff in lower school spend a day putting them into their tutor groups, and we take into account all of the information that we've received from primary schools, that we go to the special educational needs day where the Senkos from the primary schools all come along and pass over, so that's sort of specialist information, and then we also take into account the parent meetings that I spoke about. So we really want to ensure that there's a range of needs and backgrounds in primary schools in each form group. So we don't make any kind of guarantees about who you will be with, but of course, if there have been issues with relationships at primary school, then that would be taken into account when we're putting students into the group. And they're named after precious stones, which the girls really like.
Lovely, thank you.
I've just noticed another question. Do you have a wellbeing dog? We've got 2 actually, Luna, I think, and Blue. So yeah, we have, and they're over in our specialist resource centre, and they do walk around school, and it's really interesting to see some of our girls who sometimes find school a bit difficult. As soon as you give them the lead of the dog, they're fine. So yeah, we do have that. And the other one I noticed was about why don't we teach some subjects at A level? What we do is we speak to our year 11s, or year 10s actually, and we ask them what subjects they might be interested in doing in the 6th form. So if I can give you an example, a couple of years ago, girls wanted to do classics. So we introduced classics, and then the girls wanted to do criminology. So we introduced criminology, and then statistics. We offer further maths, we don't offer statistics, because the girls didn't do it. So as I said to you before, we do tailor our curriculum to meet the needs of the students, and it is very much on what they would love to do. Sociology is really popular. I think this year criminology was one subject they wanted, as I said, and we've also introduced government and politics. So yeah, we don't teach subjects if there's no need. We do business studies at BTEC. And another question was about when do we start our GCSEs? We actually started this year with year 9. So we've got year 9 doing their GCSEs, and we've also got year 10 just starting. But the year 9, so that they can continue with their really, really broad and balanced curriculum, we've introduced a carousel of subjects. So they're doing musical drama, which keeps them kind of involved in drama and music. They're doing Mandarin because it's really important that they learn how to speak another language, and they're all loving that, Niha. And they're also doing IT and how to use IT, not just all the fiddly bits around, how to use their phones, scrolling up and down, but how to do Excel spreadsheets, how to use Word documents, how to properly use IT and not kind of, set up the parental lockdown system at home, but how they actually use IT properly. So and we're really were concerned about new GCSEs because they're very content rich, and we wanted to give our students time to really explore the curriculum, embed the learning from GCSEs and achieve fantastic results.
Okay, we've got a question about modern foreign languages, which will follow on really from what Mrs. Lowe was saying. Your daughter, when she joins us, will study either French or Spanish, depending on her form group. So half of the girls in year 7 study French, half will study Spanish. They will get the option to study one of those as well when they pick their GCSEs. So depending which one they've studied, they will have the opportunity then to carry on with that GCSE level and also at A level in our sixth form. We also offer mother tongue languages at GCSE. So if your daughter is fluent in Urdu or Arabic or Portuguese or Polish, whatever languages they speak, they do have the option to add to their GCSE portfolio by studying and taking an exam in that in year 11 as well. And as Mrs. Lowe also said, we do study Mandarin from year 9, and there is also been Latin Club has run previously as well at school. So there are a range of different language options available for the girls. So someone actually has just added to that what actually makes up the year 7 curriculum. So Mrs. Powling, do you want to run through the different subjects we offer at year 7?
Yeah, so all students study the core subjects English, maths, science. They study technology on a rotation, so they cover DT, graphics and food technology. They do art, dance, drama, and then the humanities subjects, geography and history, and then ICT, as Mrs. Lowe was talking about. Then the more practical subjects, so music, PE, RS, and then they either study French or Spanish. And then we also have an additional subject, which is ABC, which is our Aim High, Be Brave and Create Positivity lesson that's lots to do with resilience, motivation, study skills, team building, and those building up those skills in students.
There's a couple of questions about streaming and setting. We very much work on the individual student, and we look at the strength that the individual student has. We don't have streams, and we don't have sets, so we don't have a top or a bottom. What we do have is mainly mixed ability for most of the course, option subjects, but we do streaming, so you will see that there are fast track classes and mixed ability classes. So you could be fast track maths, mixed ability science, because that's your strength, or you could be fast track in both, and English is primarily mixed ability until latter part of year 11, and then we focus on the individual needs of the students. So we don't set the students here, but there is a chance to move between mixed ability and streaming. And we often find that most of our fast track groups are bigger than our mixed ability groups, because we really want to be pushing the students.
Just a couple of questions have just come through, just following on from talking about the languages the girls will study. There was a question about whether they are able to study more than one language. They only study one language, either French or Spanish. There was a follow-up question also that asked, do they get a choice of which language to study? They don't themselves choose. We will choose based on the form group that we put them into, but we do take into account what language they may have studied at primary school, but there is no guarantee from us which of the 2 languages they study. And there is no assumption from us either when we start teaching the languages that they have a language background or have covered anything in primary school regarding the language they are given. So languages are taught assuming a blank slate, and they go on to do really, really well at GCSE for those that actually want to carry on with it. We then got another question that came in before tonight, which was, what does a typical day look like for a Year 7 student? Mrs. Powling, do you want to answer that?
Yeah, it's busy. So school starts at 8:30 AM promptly, and they arrive and go straight to their period 1 lesson. And each lesson is an hour long. So we have period 1 and 2, and then break time, which is about 25 minutes until 11 o'clock. Then we have periods 3 and 4 before lunch, and then lunch is 1:05 and for 45 minutes. Then we have period 5, and then finally they end the day by returning to their tutor bases, and they have tutorial period in form groups until 3:25, apart from on a Friday when we finish at 3 o'clock.
Okay, do Year 7s get to interact with older year groups? That's a really good question. I mean, usually, yes, they do. They interact an awful lot around the buildings between lessons, during break and lunch times, in the canteen. We match Year 7s up with buddies from Year 8. Sixth formers will run help running clubs and various activities and enrichment things for Year 7 as well. So yes, traditionally they get an awful lot of interaction with the older year groups. Currently at the moment, because we've got them in bubbles, it's been a bit more tricky for our current Year 7s, but we certainly hope it will be a bit more back to normal by next year, so that next year's Year 7 do go back to that traditional and normal interaction we get with older year groups.
Okay, music facilities. Question about, can you talk about the school's music facilities? We have 2 state-of-the-art music rooms which have got computers and all singing or dancing musical facilities, as well as computer systems. We also have a recording studio. Students are allowed and do have lessons during the day, and we are a centre for KMAS, Kingston Music Centre, so students do have an ample opportunity to take part in music, both in school and out of school. And we have an amazing band, we have a choir, and we really want to grow music in school as well. So yeah, we've got a fantastic facilities, because it was one of the things that we asked for when we had our second build. The other question I saw was about how do we ensure that the quality of teaching and learning is consistent? Well, that is a heavyweight question, as you said. Basically what happens is we have a system throughout the whole year. There's a calendar of events, so we continuously are assessing the students, so we analyse the data on the progress that the students are making continuously, and that happens regularly throughout the year. And then that data is analysed by subject leaders, who then look at students who are not achieving as they should, who are underachieving, and also look at the curriculum and how the curriculum is taught, and are there any missing gaps. And we have opportunities for students within the curriculum to catch up, so lessons are retaught and areas of misunderstanding are dealt with. We also do continuous learning walks or learning samples, so the senior leadership team and subject leaders go out and watch teachers teach, and they make sure that they are teaching according to the scheme of learning. They also use Ofsted criteria to see that the lessons are outstandingly taught. And we do work sampling, so we look at what's being taught in the students' books, and we take that as the students' learning journal. So we look to see whether they are following the subjects as they should be following them, whether they're learning the things that they should be learning, and that the curriculum is being followed. And we talk to our students as well, and they're incredibly honest. So our quality assurance process is incredibly tight in school. We work with staff, so senior leaders watch teachers, teachers watch teachers, subject leaders watch teachers, and we've got an open door policy. So you can go and see any lesson anytime, and staff are really happy, and they're continuously wanting feedback to improve their learning. And I think the final sort of way of knowing that our curriculum is well taught and teaching is happening are the outcomes at Key Stage 4 and the outcomes at Key Stage 5, and that shows that all the quality assurance processes are having an impact in school. That was a heavyweight question.
We've got a couple of other heavyweight questions coming in, following on about streaming, just asking for a little bit more clarification on how it's decided and how we determine, particularly given the absence of SATs and the national tests this year? Well,
you can do that one.
Yeah, just to clarify, in year 7 we only stream in maths and science. Every other subject is taught in a mixed ability class, so it's only maths and science. The difference between streaming and setting is that we stream just the top end, so we have some fast track classes and the rest of the classes are mixed ability, so we don't have a strict setting system, say set 1, set 2, set 3, set 4, set 5, which decrease in levels of ability. We stream the fast track students at the top end and the rest of the students, which make up the vast majority of our classes. So for example, in maths, we have 10 classes of maths in year 7, and there'll be 4 fast track classes and 6 mixed ability classes. The fast track classes tend to be larger in number, up to 30 students. The mixed ability classes will be slightly fewer students, usually about 22, 23. So I hope that clarifies a little bit the difference between streaming and setting. In terms of deciding upon those streams, you're right, we haven't had SATs this year, but then we never fully depend on SATs. When the students start with us, after they've been with us for a couple of weeks, we do a set of CATS tests with them, which are our own internal testing based on a national testing package. We also ask the subjects initially, obviously, to assess the girls because they start in completely mixed classes. And as we go through the term and we get a better idea of their ability and their potential, we then decide upon the streams, and those classes will change as the term goes on. So I hope I've made it a little bit clearer. I certainly hope I have. Yeah. I don't know if I have or not, but please do ask if there's anything else that you want to know about. We had another one that came in before tonight about homework and the homework policy. Mrs. Powling, do you want to have a go at that one?
So in the lower school, they have approximately 10 pieces of homework set a week, and each piece of homework they're expected to spend around 30 minutes on. And we really believe in that homework not just being, finish this off, do what you didn't get done in the class. They're tasks that stretch and challenge the content of the lesson. That obviously increases at upper school. They get more homework and are expected to spend longer on their work as they go up the school. We have homework timetables so that the students can manage their time, and we never say that homework has to be handed in the next day. There's always at least 3 days between the homework being set and the homework being handed in. And we now use online programmes to publish homework, which particularly in year 7 really helps you and them get into new routines, and you can you can see what they've been set and when it's due and things. So that's ePraise and Microsoft Teams. And we do have a homework policy, and students do get to know that if they don't hand homework in, then they get detentions, but that is a very fair policy, and the students, particularly in year 7, there's the chance to kind of practice handing in your homework. So if you don't get it right the first couple of times, that's okay. And then as they get further into the year, then we become a bit stricter about it.
Okay, we've got a question, another heavyweight question, I would say, coming through. It says, how do you ensure pupils are challenged continually in their academic work for the highest achieving pupils?
Okay, do you want to explain how we set the targets
yes,
to begin with,
yes.
and then I can explain the next bit?
Absolutely. So on entry to school, we set every student a bespoke personalised target for every subject, and these targets are generated on the basis of their prior attainment, based on years and years of historic data, which enables us to basically give them a bespoke personalised target. We call them minimum target grades. We are aspirational in these, and so we look at targets from the top 20% of pupils in the country, and we look on a system called Fisher Family Trust, which enable us to look up the types of targets for very high achieving pupils, and we give the girls targets based on those. So they'll get a minimum target grade in every subject. We also give them an aspirational target grade, which is slightly higher because that's what we believe we can add to them in terms of added value. So the girls will have 2 target grades, a minimum and an aspirational target grade, and they work with their staff to ensure that at the very least they hit their minimum, but what we want is to push them up to that aspirational target grade.
Okay, and how do we ensure that the girls continue? I've got this one, saw that one up there, about how do you make a child who is a plodder work hard? What we do is, as Matt said, every student is given a target grade. Those target grades are shared with the teachers, and when we do our continuous assessment throughout the year, we see whether the student has reached that target grade. If they haven't, then we will do some intervention and some support. And that takes a whole there's a whole gambit of things that we do. We will do one-on-one, we will do after school, we will ask the SEN department to see if there's a reason why. Obviously we'll work with the parents, and we will do our utmost within the lesson. We'll change the curriculum in some way so that the students can find it more accessible. We'll try and engage them in something. We'll find something that turns the key and opens up their love for learning. And we do have students who are plodders, but we really, most of them do achieve what they should achieve. What we do find is girls want to do well. They want to get that kind of achievement, and they want to achieve incredibly well. And sadly, there are some girls who find school difficult, and we work with them to help with their learning, and we always try and find an underlying reason as to why they find school difficult, and we put support in. And I think that links in with one of the other questions about mental health and well-being. We are a lead school in the south of the borough with the mental health project that's taking place with the NHS. We're working with 12 other schools, and as a result of that, we've got a mental health support team who work with us, and they come in and work with our students. But we've also got an amazing group of student support workers who target students and work with students who find either school difficult or life difficult, or some of us during COVID found everything just too much, and they put programs on to support students either one-on-one or in group work. And there's lots of online support that they do for the students, and there's lots of kind of mental health support. We do the colouring in, we do musical therapy, we do Lego therapy. So there's a whole lot of things taking place for our students with mental health, but also there's a lot of things taking place for our staff who've got mental health issues as well. And we've got staff comfort areas and staff rooms that are encouraging staff to think about how they look after themselves and their well-being. So for us, being part of the project and being a lead school, mental health and well-being is a key priority. But we want to show girls that it's normal to have these feelings. Everyone's got mental health, and sometimes the mental health becomes unwell. We need to deal with it, but it's about developing resilience and giving them the tools to deal with their mental health and to continue to have as much normality as possible. So it's a real priority for us as a school.
Okay, there was a really nice question that came in that asked what the girls did in their tutorial period in the half an hour they have at the end of each day with the form tutor. So, Mrs. Powling, are you happy to answer that one?
We have a structured programme for the tutorial time. In Year 7 at the moment, Mondays are our assembly day. So we get together as a year group, celebrate achievement, talk about topics in the news and topics that are important to the students. We encourage them to do tutor group assemblies. So each tutor group will deliver an assembly to the year group, which is great practice for them in terms of getting up in front of a large crowd of people. Then 2 of the afternoons are dedicated to our PSHE programme. So we cover things like being me in my world, the world around me, making choices, and then we look at health and relationship topics as well. And then we always make sure we have a day of celebrating achievement. So the Year 7s once a week nominate Fab Friends and Tutees of the Week to really sort of boost each other up. And then we also have a day that's dedicated to numeracy and literacy support. So the tutor group will have Eric, everyone reading in class. Often the Year 7s enjoy having an audio book that they all share, or we might do shared reading in the class, or a numeracy booklet that supports the learning in the maths lessons. So it's all very structured, but they do also get a chance to just have a chat with their tutor, which is really important, talk about their day, ask questions and support each other in their groups.
I'm just going to add to that as well, obviously, as the girls go up through the school, certainly once they get into year 9, 10 and 11 and start looking at GCSEs and thinking about doing exams, that's a really valuable period of time when actually we can put on subject-based interventions, so staff can pull them out of tutorial and actually do some intensive work with girls who perhaps need some extra support or just a little bit of a boost to get up to the next grade. So it's a vitally important part of our school, both in terms of our ethos and developing the child, but also enabling us certainly later on in the school to make them fulfil their academic potential. We've got a couple of questions asking about our anti-bullying policy and what do we do about bullying. So I don't know, Mrs. Lowe, if you want to have a go at that one. It's another heavyweight question.
Well, sadly, we do have incidences where girls can be incredibly unkind and can perpetuate that, and that becomes bullying and harassment. I think it's really important to sort of differentiate between the two. An unkind word or an unkind comment or an unkind look is not necessarily bullying. So if that happens, we were telling school and students, tell, and we deal with that. If it does become an issue where it's an ongoing thing and there's ongoing unkindness and ongoing comments and ongoing looks, then we will not tolerate that in school, and we will work very, very hard with the student who is doing the bullying and with their parents to explain that that will not be tolerated in school, and to explain to them the impact that they're having on the young person that they are targeting. And we also do work with the young child who's being targeted, or the young person who's being targeted, about them making sure that they feel that we've dealt with it, that we are supporting them, and we give them tools to develop resilience and to, you know, deal with what's happening to them, because it can erode their confidence and it can cause them to feel very, very down. So we will ask our student support workers to work with them to develop resilience. And that's not to say that we're blaming them, because we're not. We want them to understand that sadly, in this world, wherever you go, you will meet people who can be unkind and can bully you, and you've got to be able to stand up for yourself, and you've got to be able to have the resilience to deal with that. But also the bullies have got to understand that it's not the way of the school, and if you are a bully, there may be somebody who will bully you eventually, and very sadly it won't be a very nice experience. But incidents here are very infrequent and minor, and they are taken very, very seriously. We obviously work really, really closely with the parents. And sadly, some parents have thought in the past that, you know, it's not going to be sorted out, that we haven't been able to resolve it, although we've done the utmost that we can, and, you know, it doesn't carry on. But sadly, some parents haven't felt that we've kind of resolved the issues, and we do our utmost to resolve them. And I think if parents work with us and understand that it's a two-way process, we have to work with the victim as well as the person who's bullying, then normally it's resolved. But as I said, it's very, very, very minor and very infrequent in school.
Okay, nice question following on from something I said a bit earlier. When it's safe to do so, are parents able to come in during a school day to see the school in action, like open mornings, etc.? Absolutely, we are doing everything we can to try and make the school a safe environment. We've worked tirelessly over the summer in terms of making the school safe for students and staff. And we are looking very, very shortly at being able to host some tours of school. I think it is the biggest selling point of our school is actually letting you see it in action, because it's a wonderful place to be, it's a wonderful place to teach, and without fail, every single parent who comes and looks around and sees the school in a normal working day never fails to be impressed with the calm working ethic. So it's in our best interest to get you in here seeing that as soon as possible, and we are endeavouring to do so. So please keep checking our website. In the next few weeks, we hope to be able to have people coming in and looking around again during the school day. So thank you very much for that question. We are getting a lot of questions quite specific about SEN. Some of them are obviously very specific to individuals, which means a night like tonight is really quite difficult for us to answer specific questions about specific educational needs. What I will say is that please, if you have any specific questions, there's some that have come out about ASD, some have come out about dyslexia, then please do contact us directly in school at contact@school@tolworthgirlsschool.co.uk. We will send that link out so that you can see that. We will put you in touch with Robin Monroe, our SENCO, and she's also very happy to speak to you over the phone. So if you have any specific questions about your daughter, because she has specific needs and you're interested to see how we can accommodate those, then please do get in touch with us, either on our address that will come out, the link that will come out, or by phone, and we will get back to you and discuss your child, because actually when you're talking about individuals, it needs to be discussed at an individual level. We can give you a brief overview about the SEN department. Mr. Monroe, our SENCO, she works with parents and students to ensure that an appropriate plan is in place for every single one of them, and it is individualised and bespoke to them. Every student who has needs has a key worker who becomes the trusted person for that student. The key worker is usually a teaching assistant who will work with them in the class. We also have student support workers on hand to discuss issues and help the students navigate their way through a school day and make sure that they're happy. Every student under Miss Monroe's care has an individual learning plan. That learning plan is shared with all of the teachers that teach that student, so they're aware of the needs of the child, and they will endeavour to fulfil those needs through their planning to make sure that lessons are accessible for all, and that every student makes the progress that we expect here at Tolworth Girls' School. We have programmes of interventions as are necessary, so things like paired reading, whatever the child needs to meet their need, we will put in personalised interventions, and we have an inclusion department that offers obviously that bespoke support. But please, just going back to my earlier point, if you have any questions about specific needs, please do contact us at school. Please do speak to Miss Monroe, our SENCO. She'll be delighted to speak to you and tell you a little bit more about our individualised provision.
There's a question there about the resource base. I'm assuming that's the specialist resource centre for our students who have ASD and social, emotional and mental health issues. It's called the Athena provision. It's a beautiful place to be. It's for students who have got EHCPs with identified Asperger's, autism and associated social emotional needs. It's basically for up to 10 students, and at the moment we've got 5. The leader is well qualified in dealing with students who have got ASD and Asperger's, and also she shares that experience across the school. So if we do have students who don't have EHCP plans, we access her support. It's really calm, it's bespoke. The students are doing incredibly well in there. They spend some time in there during the day, but most of their learning takes place in school. So they're supposed to be able to access mainstream education, and they do, and it runs alongside the main school provision. And again, if you've got any concerns or any questions, or you want to come and have a visit, then Miss Johnson, Hannah Johnson, is the person that you contact, and she will quite happily speak to you, send you the video. I think that's on the website as well, but can bring you in to do a proper tour, so you can see what the facilities are for the students. And yeah, it's beautiful. It's an oasis of calm down there. It's really lovely.
Yeah, I will follow up on the website, but I'm fairly certain we've got 2 videos on the website, one about SEN provision and one about the Athena provision. They're about 5 or 6 minutes long each, and they give you a far more detailed look at exactly how those provisions work and how individualised they are. So please, I will check they are on our website. I'm fairly certain they are, but please do look at our website. And I will confirm that they are on there, and we'll give you that virtual tour that 1 or 2 people are asking about, and actually answer a lot more of your questions from the experts, as opposed to us 3 who are sat here in front of you this evening.
And we'll obviously send out the SEN details as well, so that you can know who that you've got to make contact with.
One of the things I was going to add about the tracking and making sure the students are challenged and stretched academically, we've obviously talked a lot about their target grades and what we do in lessons. But actually, in terms of our school, we do an awful lot of monitoring the quality of lessons that are delivered. So we have regular cycles here at school of learning walks with senior leaders and subject leads going into lessons, making sure that the delivery of lessons is a high quality. We do lots of book checks as well across every year group to make sure that the learning is taking place and we're happy with the quality of what's being delivered. So I think it's important for you to know that not only do we track the students, we are also monitoring the performance of staff regularly and making sure that the quality of our lessons is high for all of our students. So that's really, really important.
Communication.
Yeah, so we've got a question here about how frequent the communication is between parents and staff. Mrs. Powling, do you want to?
I said a little bit. At the moment, it's very frequent.
Yeah.
Because of the bubbles and COVID. I think I'm sending letters home nearly every week to parents. Because it's suddenly got cold. I think I sent one home this week about blankets and mittens and coats. And so we really try hard to keep parents informed. And as you know, the COVID thing is an evolving process. But I must say that the students are really, really, really being amazing. And they're in their bubbles and their behaviour is absolutely brilliant. And they're loving being in their kind of bubbles with their year group, and they are learning and catching up incredibly well. So, but yeah, the communication at the moment is very, very frequent. But normally,
yeah. In terms of formal communication between parents and staff to do with progress, we report formally home 3 times a year. One of those reports is a grade report, and one is a fully written report. And then you have one parents' consultation evening as well, where you get to have appointments with each of the subject staff who teach your daughter. But in addition to those, staff regularly communicate with parents to discuss progress, to discuss concerns and worries, but lots of the time it's to make congratulatory phone calls as well. We send lots of postcards home, and our ePraise system allows you to be able to see the house points that they've collected during the day and things as well. So it is a very kind of open dialogue between home and school. Form tutors are the first port of call for parents. So you, on meeting the tutors, you'll be given their direct email address so that you can have easy contact with them in school. And obviously parents are able to contact school anytime and ordinarily meet with staff if issues do arise. We've been having like Zoom meetings with parents in the last couple of weeks, so that's still happening.
We've got a couple of questions coming in, so we're just sort of scrolling through them. How long is a normal school day has been asked. Our school day starts at 8:30 promptly, finishes at 3:25 every day, apart from a Friday, which finishes at 3 o'clock. So that's the traditional working day. At the moment, our working day is slightly different because we have got flexible leaving times for the girls, so that they don't leave school all in one go. So on certain days currently, we have girls leaving at 2:45 and having a reduced tutorial session, just so we can stagger the leaving times from the bubbles, so the bubbles don't cross-contaminate. But hopefully by next year we will be back to normal, back to our 8:30 till 3:25, except on Fridays. We've also had quite a few questions about extracurricular clubs and what's on offer, and how much do they cost. Is there a cost to them? I'm really pleased to say that most of our extracurricular clubs are completely free, and the offer is very wide-ranging, from many sports clubs and teams to subject clinics to choir, handwriting club. I did actually put a little list here, but it's so small I'm not sure if I can read it, but I'll try and go down it. We've got pop and rock band, year 7 dance company, year 8 and 9 netball, 7 to 9 football, 10 and 11 trampolining, Key Stage 3 maths clinic, DT club, young enterprise, ukulele club, geography clinic, eco committee, young reporter, badminton club, TGS choir, Holocaust memorial performance, care club, book munch club, chess club, year 7 women's history club, history mystery club, year 10 and 11 netball. I mean, I could keep going. I've only got halfway down the list, and this was only for the spring term last year. So hopefully by me just going down that list, you can see the wide and wondrous range of enrichment activities we have here at Tolworth Girls' School. There really is something for everybody. One of the questions that came through was about Manga Club, which I think was in one of our videos that we put on the transition page. Manga Club is about, you know, drawing Japanese cartoons, so we also have a manga club, but the list is really wide-ranging, and you can see it on the website actually. So if you go into current students and have a look at enrichment activities, you will see the list that was available. Obviously, currently where we are limited in what we can offer, but we are hopeful that obviously the situation returns to normal and we can get back to doing all of those, you know, precious and really important enrichment activities that our staff enjoy doing so much. We've got a question about spaces open before and after school for students to study. Mrs. Lowe, do you want to do that one?
Well, students at the moment can't get into school until 8 o'clock, but we have had, and well, the students were coming in at 7:15, some of them, and the school is open. We don't want any students standing outside in the cold, and they can access computer rooms to do their work. After school, the library was open until 4:30. And there are computer rooms open for students who want to use them. Sadly, because we've had to put students into a bubble, we can't let students into school until 8 o'clock because we've got to make sure that the bubbles are personed and looked after, and we can't have the library open because the library is now part of a bubble as well. But there are places in each bubble where students can stay and do homework if they need to do it. And we're not encouraging students to stay after school because obviously we need to get the school cleaned and we need to make sure that students have gone home and we need to ventilate the school. But we are talking to staff about the clubs that we can start putting on, and I think currently, start from next week, or was it this week, Year 11s have started doing some intervention and after school work as well. So we are hopeful as we progress through the term that we can start putting things on. But normally next year, students can be in school from 7:15 if you want them to be. We don't charge you for that. They can do their homework, they can access computers, they're normally very, very well behaved. They can also go to the canteen, and there's porridge and breakfast available every morning. And if it's snowing, we give them hot chocolate. So that's normal, but sadly, we're not behaving normally at the moment.
I've got a question asking, following on from the sort of after school clubs, what type of sports do you actually do during school hours? That's a really good question. So what do they do in PE? I mean, currently Year 7s are working on fitness, so they're looking at different aspects of fitness in their PE. They move on to sort of a carousel of activities throughout the year. So they'll have a block of netball, they'll do a block of badminton, they'll do a block of basketball, they'll do some trampolining. Then once the weather improves in the spring term, we go outside a little bit more. They will be doing netball outside, we'll be doing rounders, we'll be doing some cricket, and they have quite a comprehensive athletics programme. So it's really broad and balanced. They also have a separate dance lesson to PE. I think we're one of the only schools in the borough, certainly, that offer both PE and dance as separate activities in Key Stage 3, and you can do them separately at GCSE as well. So the girls get a PE lesson and they get a dance lesson, which they absolutely love. So I hope that's given you a little bit of a flavour about school sports. Just whizzing through to see what else we've got here. One or two have asked how you can find out more information about our school. Well, again, it's about potentially using the contact email address that will go out as a link during this meeting at some point. It's about ringing in, giving us a phone call. We will try and obviously get you to visit our school once we are happy that it's safe to do so. We've got an enormous transition section on the website with lots of lovely videos that you can watch and lots of details. And equally, it's very valuable to speak to parents of girls here. Just seeing if we can scroll through the questions just to see.
There was a question about transport and how students can get to school. Most of them walk to school, or we've got lots of bike racks. We encourage the students to cycle to school, and then it is serviced by public transport, or the bus as well. Lots of them get the public buses to school, and there's 2 bus stops really close by.
There's another one about how highly do you value art at Tolworth Girls' School. Well, if you walk down the corridor outside my office, you will see that we display art everywhere, and there's lots and lots of pottery because that's a medium that the students use, and everywhere you go the students' work is displayed and it never gets damaged, nothing ever happens to it because we value art so much here at school. We've got work everywhere that our students have produced. We offer textiles and design at Key Stage 4, and we offer art and design at Key Stage 4 as well, but also at A level. We really do value the arts, and we're talking about, some of you mentioned STEM, which is science and technology, but we call it STEAM because it's science, technology, and also art and design, because you've got to be able to design something and make it. So we talk about the artistic value as well, and lots of our students go on to study art at university, and one of our girls has just graduated from Hampton School of Embroidery, the Royal School of Embroidery, and some of our students are working as, one of our students actually did the John Lewis advert at Christmas because of her artistic expertise. So yeah, we do encourage our girls to take an art subject at GCSE because it's really valuable to, I mean, I can't do it, but I really do like art. I can't do it, but I try really hard. And I dabble, which is very funny in my family, because I'm not very good at it, but yeah, it's very valuable.
Okay, we've got a question here. Do you go to different classes for different lessons?
Yeah, you do. Well, not today, because of COVID, we're in bubbles, but you do move within your bubble. And so there's about 9 or 10 classes, so you might move to history, to geography. But normally we have the schools set up, so we've got an English area, a drama area, a history area, an RS area, and the students will move to those areas. At the moment, most students are being taught within their bubble, but they do go to specialist subject areas. So they are doing dance, they are doing PE, they are doing technology, they are doing art, textiles. So the students are actually accessing those rooms, and they're basically cleaning the rooms when they enter, and they're cleaning the rooms when they leave, and they're being brilliant at cleaning. So don't ever be told that your daughter can't tidy, because she can. So they're being fantastic, and yeah, so they do normally move, bless them, but not at the moment.
Okay, I think this could be another heavyweight question.
Oh.
In a lesson, how are the quiet girls encouraged to answer questions and participate fully?
Oh, as an English teacher,
I can do that. They're not very often quiet, actually. No, but well, when you have a class, you obviously get to know them very well, particularly with the core subjects. We see them 7 times a fortnight, so you do get to know the students really well. And we often have kind of no hands up in the classroom, so we do targeted questions, do things like perhaps give them some warning that they're going to be the person who's going to be asked to speak in the next lesson. But on the whole, the girls very quickly become comfortable in their environment, and comfortable because they are taught in their tutor groups, and they get to know each other really well, and they're massively supportive of each other. When they do stand up and do their presentations or their speeches, there's always lots of whooping. You have to kind of calm them down with their encouragement of one another. But yeah, we just take it, a student by student, and see what works for them and what makes them feel comfortable and included in the lesson.
I love this question.
Yeah.
Do you do explosions in science? I hope not. We do lots of practical science, and there are occasionally explosions which shouldn't happen. Girls are not allowed to do explosions in science, but they do lots of practical, that's how science is taught now. The science teachers will do occasional explosions in class. I don't know if you've seen the one where they set fire to the soap bubble, and that makes a huge, great big bang. But obviously that's being really careful about safety in the lesson. And they do whizzy bag stuff, like, I don't know if you've ever made custard and tried to stand on it, because you can, but then you can eat it. It's really weird, all the wonderful things they do in science. But we don't encourage the girls to do explosions. I think that would just be, no, we wouldn't have school left, so we don't.
One of the questions that came in advance was about support and what support is available for the students. I think we've talked quite a lot about the amount of support, but it's things like the fact they see their tutor every single day, so the tutor will pick up on any issues that have arisen. Our staff are very good at communicating with each other. They will very, very quickly and easily email tutors if there's an issue with a child, or if a child's been upset, or there's something the tutor needs to be aware of. We also have several systems in school where we can log different things that arise. We obviously have a tutorial program which includes Friendship for Life program and all the important PSHE themes which girls can learn a lot from. We have lots of year group assemblies and whole school assemblies with key messages. We run a year 7 and 8 buddy scheme. You are able as parents to contact the tutors. We do give you the tutors' email addresses when they start school with us, so that you can contact the tutors directly if there's any issues or anything you need to communicate with them. The head of year is always available, as is the head of school. We've talked about, I'm head of lower school, we also have a head of upper school. So we have senior members of staff available as well. So whatever support a child needs, there is always someone they can go to, always someone they can talk to. And we generally find that any small issues are very, very quickly and easily resolved. Just having a little look at the questions.
There's one about how many students do we get into Oxford or Cambridge. We do encourage our students to apply to Oxford or Cambridge. I think over the last few years we've had 1 or 2, but a number of our students do get into the Russell Group universities. So that's universities like Russell, like Durham, Exeter, SOAS, King's in London. So a great number of our students do get into those universities. Someone mentioned about science. A number of our students, I'd say almost 30% of our students do sciences, and they do go on to the science kind of based subjects. We have a huge number of students who've gone on to be doctors, dentists, nurses. I've always said that I've been really well looked after in my old age. So yeah, sciences are quite strong, but we do also have students who go on and do art, drama, the kind of therapy linked work, history, English. We've got zoologists, we've got architects, and they do get into some really amazing universities. So we do encourage, we do have a fast track group in the sixth form for students who are Oxbridge, and we work with other schools in the locality to prepare our students, and we also work with our alumni as well, because our alumni, very large number of our students come back and work with our sixth form students. So yeah, I think that's an answer to that question.
Yeah,
we're running out of questions, aren't we?
Well, I think we've got 1 or 2 technical difficulties. We're just refreshing the feed. There was a question that came up about, do I have to buy a locker?
Oh yes.
And as man with chief responsibility for lockers, I'm probably the person to speak to about that. Yes, we do rent lockers. Lockers are £5 a year. So students are able to have their own personal locker, or some girls share lockers quite often. Lockers are always located near the girls' tutor base, so that they can access those before school, at break time, at lunchtime, and at the end of the day. And they're a really nice size in terms of being able to store books, PE kits, lunch boxes, various things like that. And so yes, there is an opportunity for your daughter to rent a locker. You'll get a letter about that as part of the transition programme if your daughter wants a locker. There was also a question about the uniform and dress code.
We're very strict. The girls have to wear the uniform. We have, you know, we really are strict. A parent told me last week I was very strict about uniform. The skirts are expected to be rolled down. You'll often hear me shout. White Revere necked shirts, the blazers and the jumpers, and black or navy tights. Proper shoes, and though sadly some of the trendy sports shoes are looking like shoes, but we do send information out about shoes. And our PE kit is navy tracky bottoms, a navy sweatshirt, and a white labelled shirt, polo shirt. And the thing that causes the most grief is yellow socks. We do expect our students to come into school being incredibly smart. 1 pair of earrings in your ear, no nose piercings, no tattoos, no lip or mouth piercings because of health and safety. I don't investigate belly buttons, but we do expect our students to be properly dressed for school. Sixth form, it's business wear. And if we have muftis, we are very careful about what we say to our girls, because they have to be smart, because they are representing our school when they come to school every day and when they walk along the streets. So yes, we are very strict about uniform, and we do have, because I do know that it's can be quite expensive for parents, but we don't take any money from the company. We put all the money that they could potentially give us back into the cost of the uniform, so that's why it is cheaper than most. And we do have some really good second-hand uniform if you need it, and it's all washed and cleaned. And I do know how difficult it was, because I've got children and they used to eat the ends of their jumpers. Always buying
okay, I think we've got a couple of questions left. There was one about the sixth form and whether or not we prioritise Tolworth Girls' School girls. Absolutely we do. Every single one of our Year 11 students we offer a place to, providing we have a suitable course for them. The vast majority of our Year 11 girls will move into our sixth form. Our sixth form is largely an academic sixth form in terms of the courses it offers. So we offer a wide range of A levels with a few BTEC and vocational courses. We don't offer a tremendous amount of level 2 courses, which are equivalent to GCSEs for girls who perhaps have got less than the 5 GCSEs at grade 4 or above. So we do lose some girls because we don't offer a course that is suitable for them, and they will tend to go to places like Kingston College or Nescott. But the vast majority of our Year 11s will stay with us into our sixth form and study a programme of 3 A levels with us and go through our bespoke personalised programme for sixth form. So I think that pretty much brings us to the end of tonight. I'm quite relieved we seem to have got through it unscathed.
Thank you.
We've had 1 or 2 technical problems, but hopefully you've managed to hear what we've been saying and we've managed to answer most of your questions. Thank you so much for your interest in our school. We really appreciate it. We hopefully look forward to seeing you at some point in the next few months where you can come and visit us properly, and we really hope that we're going to be working with your daughter next year. If you have any more questions or would like more information, then please do contact us at school and our contact the head email address, or speak to us by phone on 0208 397 3854. We'd love to hear from you, but thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. I really look forward to working with you in September of next year. Thank you.